The Vatican has replaced the head of its financial watchdog agency. An official from the Bank of Italy has been named the new director. The office is in charge of international cooperation and fighting money laundering. The changes follow an investigation into the purchase of luxury real estate in London by the Secretariat of State. The Vatican has created a new commission to address COVID-19 to help support churches and communities around the world.
To also invite all of humanity, starting from these communities, to begin to think about the world of tomorrow, recognizing that this virus has forced us to make an experience of life in a way that we probably have never, done.
Cardinal Peter Turkson, president of the Vatican department in charge of the commission, says the crisis forces us to recognize humanity is one family and must live in solidarity. The new commission is made up of 5 working groups to put actions in place for the future. Father Augusto Zampini, Adjunct Secretary of the Dicastery for Promoting Integral Human Development, joins us now from Rome. Father, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for calling. A pleasure.
So, Father, how is this commission for COVID-19 going to help church communities now and in the future?
Well, the first is about immediate help. No? The churches that are in need, how to connect the churches that are in need with the churches that are willing to be generous with their own talents, with their money, with their own resources. That's the first line of contribution. The second is to identify which churches are working with, particularly with hospitals or healthcare centers in poor regions, and how can the universal church be more, agile in helping the ones who are most in need. This will be the first idea of the Pope, but then there's a second one that is more in the middle and long term, that is analyzing, studying and proposing different ideas for the whole socioeconomic and health and security issues that this pandemic is dragging us into. So how can we help also societies through the church and through the local churches to respond in a better way to this pandemic and to push what we call for the common good, no? The good of everyone and the health of everyone.
Father, I'm curious, is this the first time that so many Vatican departments and other institutions have been working closely together? And if so, does this change the inner workings of the Vatican?
Yeah, that's a good question. I am relatively new in the Vatican. I've been working here for 3 years, only since the Dicastery was created for integral human development. But I haven't recalled, I don't remember this kind of inter-Vatican task force. So it could be a way of responding in a more agile and a more effective way to the needs of the world. Could be. I think that's something that the Pope is considering. And also, that's something that we are enjoying it. I mean, we are discovering that we can work together, and together we can do greater things that on our own, in our own department. And I think governments are in that line as well. At least here in Italy, some ministries are working together, and they discover that joining forces is always more efficient than working in isolation.
Absolutely. Well, I know the International Monetary Fund is forecasting a 3% drop in the global gross domestic product, which would, of course, be greater than what happened in the Great Depression. In your experience, do you think that the economy will be able to bounce back after this?
That's the $1 million question. I think that we are going to face very, very tough times, I'm afraid. So that's why we are working, flat out in the church. So I think the image that we have is that the whole economic globalization is in pause at the moment, or at least the one that we know. We cannot go backward. We cannot press fast forward and continue business as usual. So how can we reset and create a bouncing back, but in a more inclusive way, in a way that we can provide health health care for everyone, so that we can really prevent this kind of pandemics, and in a way that also it could be more sustainable. And what we want basically in the bouncing back is how the economy can help to have not sick, but healthy people, healthy institutions, and a healthy planet. That's an opportunity that we are having at present with this crisis. Remember that in Greek, crisis is something terrible, but also an opportunity. We are working so that it could be a good opportunity for the benefit of all.
Well, thank you so much, Father, for coming on. We appreciate your time and, of course, your insight. Father Augusto Zampini, Adjunct Secretary of the Dicastery for Promoting Integral Human Development. Thank you again, Father.
Thank you, and keep safe. God bless.